Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. In today's video, we gotta start it off with Ashton Jeanty because people were calling this dude a bust 1 week ago. This is early in the second quarter. Don't worry, that's not an actual fumble. The ball was dead at the line of scrimmage. Ashton ran 7 times for 33 yards and 1 touchdown, and obviously this is his touchdown. In today's video, we're going to go through a bunch. We're going to go through, some more Ashton Jeanty. We'll touch on Cam Miller, Tyreek Wilson, Jack Besh, Dante Thornton. We're going to talk everything about this Raiders team because I don't care that it's preseason. This offensive line looked good. Ashton Jeanty looked really good. He did have a stinger earlier on in the football game, but it was just a stinger. He comes back in, he does this, and they get the starters on out of there. So without further ado, let's just pop right into it. Alright guys, this is the first string Raiders offense. As you can tell, that's Mr. Geno Smith. Now we got Brock Bowers here. I had to throw this in because it's a 28-yard catch, and people were already even saying, or I'll just play it right now. People were like, oh, the defender... Because I tweeted it out, I was like, Brock Bowers is already the best tight end in the NFL. And people were like, the defender fell down. He's mossing him. He's mossing him, folks, right now. Let's see the slip accusations. The slip accusations? Accusations? There we go. Jeez. Apparently that's a hard word to say today. But I did want to show some stuff from the first string offense. Obviously, that's Ashton Jeanty. Brock Bowers is... He's at least, if you want to be critical, he's at least a top 5 tight end in the NFL. And I have a strong feeling by the end of this year, it's going to be very difficult to argue that Brock Bowers is not one of, if not the best in the business at his position. But Geno Smith hits him perfectly in stride here. This is a phenomenal throw, phenomenal catch, putting it where Brock Bowers can get it. This is great timing, great chemistry, and I just had to throw this one in. All right, more Ashton Jeanty right here, Ashton. Now you're going to see we're getting this kind of sweep or motion here. What this is going to do is it's going to bring one of their linebackers to follow him in man coverage. What I want you, obviously, is to keep an eye on Ashton Jeanty, and we'll look at Dante Thornton, number 10, right there in just 1 second, because this is artwork. And from the other angle, it's even better, but that's the hit stick, that's what we're all looking for, and that's what we know Ashton Jeanty is going to do. You can't wait for him to come to you. You got to go and get Ashton Jeanty, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing this all season. But keep an eye on number 10 right here. All right, first off, this is Dante Thornton. He had 2 receptions today, 2 targets, no receptions today. Geno and him looked like they kind of had a touchdown on one of those 2, but neither here nor there. One of the reasons you're going to see this guy play so much this season is because of his blocking. It's why you're already seeing him get reps. Look at him right now. He is putting on a block clinic, and then Jeanty's just going to kind of do the rest. But when you break down the film here, got the edge. He could go around here, but he's got the edge. So these guys are just taking care of business. All of the offensive linemen, he's flying. That's a funny screen grab. The offensive line took care of business, all right? And there was a lot of concern about the O-line heading into this football game, and I don't have it. I don't see it in any way, shape, or form, to be honest with you, in general. But I don't see it, all right? I think people expect, perfect offensive lines, all 5 players to be, superstar, all-pros every single season. Not necessarily saying Raiders fans right now, but... This right here, Dante Thornton, number 10, is artwork. Every coach is smiling out there. You know damn well Pete Carroll is smiling. Before we get any further into today's video, folks, if you don't mind hitting that like button, hitting that sub button if you haven't already. Try and get this one to 250 likes. But let's keep it moving. All right, once again, we got Jeanty here and we got Geno. They're just going up the gut here for a rush. It's not the best quality here, but I do just kind of want to say it's 3rd and 5 here. The original tweet was like, they got a lot of trust in Ashton Jeanty to pick up the yards here, which, it's preseason football, so it doesn't really matter, and they probably would have gone for it if it was, 38-yard line, 37-yard line, they probably would have gone for it anyways. But just kind of show you, and Raiders fans, you guys know this, people were, freaking their lids. Not Raiders fans. People were freaking their lids calling this kid a bust all last week. Literally all last week. So this is I think our last Jeanty clip, and I just want to say he looked so comfortable today. He looked comfortable. He looked aggressive. He looked explosive, like he was trying to, you see it right here. He's being aggressive. This is prime Ashton Jeanty. This is exactly why he was drafted number 6 overall to the Raiders. So I feel good. I know every Raiders fan feels very good about this as well, but I did just want to throw this in here because people were calling him a bust literally 1 week ago. All last week, they were calling him a bust because of like 3 carries in the first preseason game. Now, speaking of social media, you're going to see way too much negativity regarding the Raiders defense on social media and videos because Brock Purdy had some completions. He was like 5 of 7, whatever. People were freaking out saying they're going to give up the most yards in the NFL this upcoming season, whatever. This is Jeremy Chinn catching an interception, and I feel like Jeremy Chinn's acquisition on this defensive back room has honestly for some reason began to be unnoticed or under discussed. Everyone's freaking out about like Darian Porter. People are freaking out about Eric Stokes. They're just freaking out about the Raiders defensive back room because it's not the most experienced group. Jeremy Chinn was one of the Raiders' first moves in free agency. It might have even been the first move. I don't really recall specifics, but this is a gamer, dude. He loves to hit. He can play everywhere on the field. He's versatile, and I'm glad that they picked him up in free agency. And I had to throw this one in here for some defense. And to make it even better, I got Tyreek Wilson because Tyree played a very good football game today. Now, I totally understand, especially first-round draft picks, especially top 10 first-round draft picks. I understand you need to make an impact, and you need to make an impact pretty quickly because expectations are very high because of where you were selected in the draft. And Tyree's had a really interesting NFL career, and I think what a lot of people forget is his injury when he first came in to the Las Vegas Raiders. So you see him on the interior defensive line. If you don't remember, they started to move him to the interior line at halfway through last season, and he looked much, much better. And so we've seen a couple of preseason games right now where he looks much, much better. And right here, he's just bulldozing them. This is a pure power rush, and he's essentially right there for Mac and Cheddar Cheese Jones to take down for a sack or to at least hit him. And obviously this ball ends up being poorly thrown, bad decision, and, Tyreek Wilson and the Raiders defensive line is a big reason for that. All right, 2 quick comments on this. This is number 12, Aiden OConnell. Not a good preseason, not a good football game. Again, he does not look like a great backup quarterback option. Now, the second part is that's Jack Besh catching a nice football here. And they were kind of saying this even on who, by the way, he had 2 catches for 21 yards on 3 targets. They were saying, because we know Aiden O'Connell's not mobile. And it's 3rd and 9 here. The pocket is absolutely collapsing. I feel like mid-season, Aiden O'Connell's going to check it down here, maybe check it down here. All in all, today he went 15 of 23 for 138 yards and 1 interception. And it's just interesting because we didn't really get to see enough of Cam Miller today. And Cam looked really good. He went like 6 of 7, I believe 6 of 7 for a touchdown and 81 yards in his first preseason game against Seattle last week. But these are just, God forbid Gino's got to miss a game or even worse, an extended period of time. I don't feel the best with Aiden O'Connell. Now, I'm not saying his time in Las Vegas is done because I do think at the end of the day, Cam Miller should be slowly marinated. They should not bring him in immediately, or at least it's easy for me and us to say, oh, this kid should be, backup quarterback because that is how I feel. But at the same time, you don't know what situation is going to happen in the regular season where maybe you need, Cam Miller or Aiden O'Connell for 3 or 4 games and it's week 14 to 18 and you really got to win these games. You know what I'm saying? So context matters here. This was probably the better decision I liked from Aiden, and he connected with Jack Besh on this, so had to throw this one in here as well. All right, guys, just to kind of go off, we'll end it here on Cam Miller because I know the game, ideally ends in a different way, preseason or not preseason, but kind of what I was saying in that last clip, and obviously this is Cam Miller. This is his first actual snap of, he came in kind of similar to last week where he just barely comes in, halfway through the 4th, and he finds Cedric Jackson immediately, which I think these 2 guys can possibly feed families in a few years, but that's just kind of the thing where it's I think Cam Miller's potential is through the roof. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is that bad of a backup quarterback. I don't think Aiden O'Connell should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm so glad that they didn't go that route this offseason. But it's one of those where it's like, as a fan, kind of have to temper my expectations as far as what we're looking for with that backup quarterback gig, where it's like, if this is Madden, ideally, yeah, or give Cam Miller the starting or the backup gig, but that interception to end that game was tough. The sacks to end that game were tough, and it is what it is. It's preseason, so still got another game of preseason, but that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for more Raiders and NFL content. Don't let how that game sour your taste on Cam Miller and the Raiders preseason, especially the first string guys, because this is a good team, man. We all know it. We all see it. So, yeah, let me know. Give me a grade rating for this Raiders game in general. Any players you liked, any players you didn't like, and we'll see you soon. Peace.